Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon listeners, it's me 𝗂𝗎𝗓𝗏 coming back on live, Facebook live, and if you just bear me a minute, let me share this video and the program can start. Thank you very much. Today is Friday, the 11th of February 2022. Before we start this program, I just want to share the sad news we have in London. Our brother, uncle to others and father to others, Mr. 𝗲𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗁𝗍𝗵 passed away. We are praying for Allah forgiveness and for his soul to rest in Jannah. 𝗲𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗍𝗵, for those who don't know, is the father of the struggle, especially in the United Kingdom. He have hosted a lot of conference, discussions, forums, and have participated in anything or facilitated any demonstration that have been organized in the United Kingdom, for that matter. He was very energetic person, very patient. He was a person who was very knowledgeable and very humble and ready to share with everybody. And he was a father figure to the struggle, and he have never wavered. We are praying for him, and and just to let Gambians know that this sad news have happened in London, and if any more news come out of it, for any arrangements, we will share with you guys. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. We are going to discuss. It's going to be brief, and the reason is I am busy. I'll be going out soon. But as I always said, and one thing I want to point out first, our voice. I know the topic I'm going to talk about. In some cases, even myself, I do so say, or just leave it. Let's leave it to them. People will be saying, "Oh, let's leave it to them. Things will get worse." That's a fact. That things are gonna get worse. We know that it's gonna get worse. But again, we can't be silenced. We can't be silenced. Why can't we be silenced? I always say that what happened in the country, even though we live in a democracy, it's not what the majority have decided. Why? Because we have a majority that are ill-informed. When I say that ill-informed, does not mean that they cannot tell right from wrong. No. Some issues are more sophisticated than it looks. And we know that there's a minority that are in leadership. We always know it's the minority that's in leadership. And that minority have hijacked the country since independence. They come in different phases, but technically even they are the same people. And they have manipulated and always divided us and always wanted one of their strategies is to keep the people ignorant in order to continue to suppress them for their selfish gains. This is what's been happening. And if we are quiet because of those few people or that minority that manage to control this narrative, we shall ever be in what we are. But again, would we bring about change from what we do? Yes, we will. How much change that would be, or when that change will happen to our expectations, we don't know. We might not be even here. Just to reference again, 𝗕𝗹𝗆𝗺𝗀𝗁 have always kept a voice. 𝗕𝗹𝗆𝗺𝗁 have never been silenced. As far as I know, he's been in it from the First Republic. As far as I know, he's been in it since he was a youth. When he migrated from Buyam and come to Serekunda, and with the Jane family, and he was an activist, and he died an activist, and that's why it's important to have this discussion and continue to have this discussion. We will do as much, and we are supposed to do as much as possible until something happens or until we can no more. And I will not fault anyone for taking a break, walking away. It's their right, but I'll encourage everyone to continue this conversation. Why? We need to counter a narrative. We need to counter a narrative. We should not leave that narrative that they want to continue. For one reason, for me, it's an insult to our intelligence. My intelligence. That's why I can't never be quiet. I've never been brought up to be quiet. And I do get satisfaction for speaking out. And thank God I have a platform where I can speak out. And I will use any platform given to me to speak out. And speak out the truth to the best of my ability. And that's what I encourage Gambians to do. We need to continue conversation. We cannot just say that, oh, they voted the way they want, or this is what Gambian wants. No. The fact though is, I agree with those people, this is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. It's just sad that the people that think that they are doing this to benefit themselves don't see it. And that's always the sad part of what happens in Africa. And that's why we end up seeing the unrest and other things, and we blame the people that rise up, for unruly or whatever it is. But no, it's a failed leadership. That's why that leadership should be held responsible. The other, I'll start this discussion. As I said, I want to keep it brief. If I don't rely on guidelines, I would just stay here for a long time. What I will do is, I wrote a post. I started a post yesterday. I just put 2 points on that post, and I will use that post to have this discussion. I said we can't blame the world market price alone for the high price of food and energy essential needs. I use the word alone. We cannot. I agree. We are living through it. United Kingdom, America, anyway. Even China, the inflation of prices is a reality. Due to what? Many factors. There are many factors that cause this. We are not going to talk about those factors. We are going to keep it into Gambia. Why did I say it's not? We can't. The Gambian government cannot blame prices, high price, that because of the world food prices going up. because I had the Minister of Finance say that. But we will hear the contradictions on this. I said, I agree the food prices and essential commodities are rising rapidly globally, but the scarcity of commodities, the extortional price, and the suffering of the people cannot be blamed on the can be blamed on the people managing the economy. What I'm saying here is, yes, we agree on the price rise globally, but the scarcity we cannot blame that globally. The scarcity of products cannot, food or food stuff in the Gambia cannot be blamed on global markets. One, the suffering, the price rise, the amount or the frequency of the prices rising, it cannot be blamed on the world market. No. Prices are rising in the United Kingdom, and everywhere else, but it's not the same as Gambia and other countries similar to Gambia where the economy is mismanaged. I'll come to that. And the suffering of the people, too, cannot be blamed, can be blamed on the people managing the economy, not on the world food prices. No. Why did I say this? I'm going to share some facts here. I said the countries affected worst are the countries that had not managed their economy in better times. The countries affected most, where you have price rising so rapidly, one, and this is just one, the two, where people are suffering more, are countries that have not managed an economy well when in good times. So that the economy can take some shocks and there's a safety net or there's a provision, there's a way you can come with emergency measures to tweak your policy, or have emergency interventions that you do to help the less fortunate ones. Just as in the United Kingdom here, Parliament, with all the brouhaha going with the COVID problems and everything, Parliament, be the opposition, be the government, the opposition is forcing government to come with policies or interventions that will help the people to live through these hard times. They are talking about energy, energy cost to be reduced for certain household. How do we make sure some household, the energy cost will be reduced so that they can have a little bit more money going for them to or able to pay some things. There are other measures being talked about. That's because of, why are they talking about this? Because there's a room to maneuver. They have created room to maneuver in case of these eventualities when they happen. Then that's why I said it cannot be blamed squarely on world price market, the world price market. We have to take responsibility for not managing an economy, corruption, and other things we'll discuss. I said too, these countries that fail to have good economic policies cannot afford, to support the most vulnerable members of society by introducing emergency measures to reduce the burden. That's what I said there. Number 3, these countries affected worst are the countries that fail to ensure they can feed themselves from what they produce within their country by developing a sustainable agriculture and economic policy. Another thing is here. The failure here is we don't have an economy that's been managed. We don't have an agricultural policy that's been managed. It's hampered by what? Corruption, nepotism, exclusion. What I mean, we all know what the corruption is. For instance, just the Minister of Agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture, how many millions have we talked about only on fertilizer corruption? Since in the 5 years, there are 2 major fertilizer corruptions we had about, which the president knew. And he addressed this on a political rally. We knew about the people. A minister was mentioned, and the last time the ministers were mentioned, nothing came about of it, because the president himself is part of the corruption. Corruption is one. How many projects, since this government came to power, how many times we hear about an agricultural project? Millions of dollars. Have we seen anything come out of it? The millions of dollars been given out by grant and other funds since this coming to government. What have we seen? Nothing, absolutely. Then corruption must be a problem. Another thing is incompetence because of nepotism. People are appointed based on their relationship to people in government, their relationship to the president, their loyalty to the president. It's not because of their competency that they can deliver. This is another fight. The other thing is exclusion. People are not included. For instance, the Gambia, as I keep on saying, and I will not shy away from this. I know it irritates some people, but that's their problem. The Gambia cannot transform itself without a comprehensive policy that would enhance the capitals in the diaspora. Until a government decides to have a comprehensive policy that integrates the capitals in the diaspora into our development, into a development strategy, we will not move an inch. There's no better partner. There's no better partner that the government can find. Be the World Bank, be the College China, whoever you said, cannot. We are the best that this government can find. But what do they do? Exclude us. I give an example. The Scorpions, we celebrated the Scorpions. We celebrated the Scorpions for the performance. But the performance, it's a collective. Let's say it's a collective contribution from decades of people doing something. People doing their bit. I mean, from the Beeris, from the 𝗀𝗍𝗍𝗃𝗍, from the 𝗕𝗵𝗆 𝗃𝗍𝗃𝗃𝗃, from the 𝗬𝗍𝗆 sources, from the, let's go on, Father Goff, the biggest actually contributor, and others. You see, it came to this. But one thing we have to recognize, and we can see it in every other country in Africa that is doing well now, especially Senegal, the contribution of people in the diaspora, from the diaspora. Be it they went through the back way, be it they were born here by Gambian parents. This is the composition of the team we have that perform. And have we seen the same thing in Senegal? When Senegal started to have international players from Alhaji Diouf, Pape Demba Bouba Diop, and others. I mean, we have seen their performance. And now they were there. And look at the performance today. Sadio Touré is, Sadio Mane would not have been Sadio Mane without, coming out in the diaspora. But these are the things we talk about. I'm just giving out an example in football, but there are a lot of other things. As I said, there are so many capitals in everything. There are so many capitals. I can call a 12-point capitals that we can integrate into what every ministry, every sector should have a diaspora strategy. How do we get involved with the diaspora here? Because the diaspora would only support for the benefit of all of us. We continue that. This is the region here. The Gambia failed to plan to feed ourselves because what? Corruption, nepotism, incompetent people being appointed, they are loyal to the president, or they have to come from a certain family in order to get votes or to represent a certain tribe. These are the things they do. It's all about nepotism. And they fail to do this. And look, in development, the first thing is to feed yourself. If a country cannot prioritize to feed themselves, they will not. I give you an example. If you go to Israel, first thing is to defend themselves militarily. That's their first priority. Because of what? That's what they exist on. because they occupy a land. Yeah, the land, they have historic rights or whatever you call it. But they occupied a land, and the only way they can do anything else is by first holding onto the land, by defending. That's how they acquired the land. They went through force, and they have to use force to maintain that and to put the fear and I mean to survive first. But two is innovation. From everything they do have to be sustainable. They have to use knowledge. They have to Israel is created by their diaspora and the international community. I'll tell you, the international community would not have supported Israel if their diaspora was not strategic. But again, what other things Israel do? They do everything sustainable. They use innovation. Anything that they see that with this thing, be the technology, be this, they will be on top of it. Agriculture, the little space of land they have for agriculture, they develop something. That's what they do. Feeding themselves is the second. To feed themselves is the second. But in the Gambia, as I said, first thing to do is to be able to feed yourself. If you cannot achieve that, you will not achieve nothing. Absolutely. If you fail to achieve to feed yourself, you can't. And it's possible. We can. It's possible. If we just manage to feed ourselves, we see how we will be sustained. Imagine, able to, produce enough. That's the first thing, to produce enough to feed ourselves and to export. Once you produce enough, people will live better. People will have their bland side. People will not need the healthcare system more and other things. People growth, even children's growth are affected because of they are not being fed well, and it affects their mental development. And you can go on and go on. But if you develop agriculture, you are developing an industry, create the jobs. Go on and it's just no-brainer. But no, we don't have a strategy. It's all about let the money come, let the project comes, and we live beyond our means. You see, living beyond our means, that's what all it is. How many properties do I have? What kind of vehicle I drive? That's why they all rush to get to the city. They will call themselves technocrats. They will not go back. They will not go to work, come back home, and think of what do they achieve today. They will not be going to work thinking of what they're going to achieve for the people, what they're going to do for their work. No, they are thinking of how they're going to get through certain things in order to live for tomorrow, in order to do that another day and keep on. That's what they're doing. They're not thinking of tomorrow for what they're assigned to do. This is a failure, and that's why we are here. But let's bring an example to Gambia. I said, in 5 years, why the government failed to manage our marine resources to enable us to transform the life and livelihood of the people. The Fisheries Ministry alone can transform thousands of people's life and help transform our economy by helping us achieve a sustainable development. Now, let's bring it specific. Fisheries. Fisheries alone, our marine resources. For 5 years, what have this government done? What have this government done? For 5 years. Look, we cannot blame Jammeh for anything now, for these things. Now, I'm not sorry. Let me rephrase that. I don't mean we can't blame Jammeh. I'm saying on these specific things, we have enough time to bring about change. But what do we do? We make it even worse. On certain aspects, we even do it worse. And I'll tell you, they're using the same template of Jammeh. And we'll get to that. You see, most of this corruption is because of Barrow is benefiting. Most of this corruption is because of Barrow and the people around him are benefiting. That's how they survive. The technocrats are benefiting. That's all it is about. It's not that they don't know. Gambia have trained one of the best agriculturists from the best institutions. From Reading University here. People that know Reading University in agriculture. from other institutions in the United States, from up to Bangladesh, onto Sri Lanka, India. These people, they've seen everything. They know what to do, but that's not what they should do. What they should do is to just go and check, go and audit these people, their life, the way they live their lives. Go and audit them. That's where the blame should be. What have they done? Just in fisheries. Go and look at the life, go and audit, 𝗵𝗆𝗆𝗺𝗀𝗁 Gomez, the minister, and go down. We all heard about corruption. They even have to burn down. They have to, burn down their own ministry to cover up. The so-called permanent secretary on trial, where's the trial? It's all a farce. It's all about the elections. And we can go on and go on. That's a failure. Only fishes, jobs, and livelihood. Gambians cannot even afford fish. With all the fish we have. Then who are we to blame? Who are we to blame? World market price? No. We did not manage our marine resources. That's what we should blame. Let's move on. I don't have time, but we could have talked a lot about this. The other thing, in 5 years, why did the government fail to develop a comprehensive policy that ensure we have sufficient poultry products? Supported by a domestic supply chain that stopped the importation of poultry meat or eggs. We would not have been affected so badly in difficult times, to the extent of the average person can afford to eat an egg. Now, today I woke up, I had egg at $12. Poultry. What is difficult from developing poultry farms? And again, they will try to blame all these things, and some of us will say, oh, the youths, all this is a lie. The amount of people I know that participate in poultry business, who have never had anything to do with animal husbandry or agriculture, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. How many diasporans are involved? Companies. But they will tell you that there's no conducive environment. They cannot compete with the imports. We all had the mantra of Yahya Jammeh, stop importation, try and do this. But it did not last because of the corruption. What is the government strategy? Poultry. If we cannot achieve that, what can we? Not rice production, not poultry, not vegetable. What have we achieved? 5 good years with all the billions of dollars. Poultry. Just policies. Did we give priority to this? You see, I said a diaspora strategy would have you. There's a lot you could have done to facilitate investment from the diaspora to projects in the Gambia for youths. There are many ways you can do that. The money would come in, channel there's a lot the government could have done. The burden of feeding, that's why I say a supply chain from everything that they need. But remember, during the elections, when Barrow told you about how many the company that's coming from Spain to employ how many thousand youths. You see, these are just jokes. Why do you need a company from Spain? We Gambians can do it themselves. I've seen a lady from that very eloquent young lady that came back from the back way, and what she was struggling with. She got help from IMO and family members. She started a poultry business, but she's struggling. Not lack of passion, not lack of these things, or what, not been working hard, but because of the scarcity of stuff. There's no conducive environment for her to operate, to afford the feed. But know what? They will blame. The trade minister will come out to blame. Just as during the bread crisis, they blame the foreigners. Yeah, because of Gambians don't operate bakeries. You think Gambians operate bakeries? They will operate bakeries to sell it at a loss. And people say Gambians don't operate bakeries, probably they don't know. I know so many Gambians that operate bakeries. I know Gambians that operate bakeries 20 years ago. Tapalapa. Many. But what have we done to support these people? What have the government done to support Gambian bakeries? What have the government done to support Gambians to go into something else? But that's not the only problem. We'll talk about the other problems, why the bread prices, other prices are going up. We're going to go there. But we'll blame the foreigners. And I had this audio going on to say that, oh, now they have a mobile phone. They call each other to discuss prices. What's wrong with that? They're discussing prices because that's what the market is. It's a market price. Because, yes, they bought this bag of flour for $10. Now they realize the flour prices are gone up. You expect them to sell at a loss for this bag? How are they going to afford the other bags they're going to sell? Stability of markets. You see, we cannot just keep on accepting this blame game going up. We have to blame the government for not creating that environment, an enabling environment. Don't have a development strategy that is creating sustainability. We have to blame them for that. Let me move on because I don't have time. We could have just get more into this. I said this from that post. There are only two examples. These are only two examples I gave them. The list of priority initiatives that could be implemented to transform the economy and the livelihood of our people can be easily listed to 10 points that would have guaranteed sustainable economic development. Just as I said, 10 points could have changed the narrative. Because what you realize that these things are interlinked. Once you achieve one thing, the other things will just hook onto it. The possibilities would be created, an environment is created. Just as I said, if you have a strategy to feed, let's say Gambia have to feed themselves with poultry and animal husbandry, you created jobs. Those jobs are going to pay tax. Those taxes and those people that have jobs are going to create other jobs because they're going to use their money. It's a microeconomy. They're going to use their money to pay for other things. The children would be better off because they would not only be fed well, but their education, there'll be investment in their education. Because their parents have more money to do other things. And it goes on. Their health become better. Other things become better. 10 things you can do. And why am I'm not talking about IMF and all these things, because they all have interests. But the interest that the Gambian diaspora have is just to see things better. But no, exclude them, because if you include them, you're not able to control the narrative. What narrative do you want to control? It's a narrative where people are divided so that you, a small pool of people, can use tribalism and everything as elites, and to be elites to control the economy. And it's all about the economy. It's not about tribe. They use tribe, yes, but it's all about economy. That's why they don't want us to be together. They have to divide us to be fighting among silly things. But this is what they want. We continue. Ask yourself, what have the government delivered in the last 5 years that have made our people's life better? What in 5 years? What? Anything that they put their efforts on is for themselves. They will not prioritize. They don't prioritize things that needed to be prioritized. I'll get to the other things. They talk about roads. Look at the School of Nursing. Just close down. School of Nursing. When we know they're spending millions to some diasporans, for some diasporans to support them, they're spending millions on them. And these are not speculation, they are facts. They are facts. They are not complete people like me. But we know what's going on. Spending millions on that. So that we'll be divided as diasporans, and they will divide it as people. They're spending millions on that. But not to sponsor nurses. Now, if we cannot train nurses, and we're talking about building a 5-star hospital, 500-bed hospital, where are you going to get the nurses? And where you think your hospital, delivery system will be better? But no. How much do they need? How much would it cost to maintain that school? With the billions they're throwing about. Billions. This is where the problem is. We cannot blame world market prices. It's the corruption, nepotism, exclusion. That's all what it is. We cannot blame the world market prices. The people in position of power, lives have been transformed. Most of them are overfed to the extent that men that were skinny are now looking like pregnant women. Men that were skinny are looking like pregnant women because they are overfed. But look at the average Gambian. They don't have concept. Look, they'll tell you anything. They will come and tell you about Islam, about Christianity, about Allah or Jesus, whatever. They don't believe in it. They don't believe in it. Check this out. Check all the people that this government have taken on. The skinny men. Go and look at Ibrahim Silla. Ibrahim Silla now is competing with Barrow. Overfed. Overfed. When nurses cannot, be fed. And not only Ibrahim Silla, go and look at the cabinet. First thing you see is the change in their face. Even people, some of their supporters in the diaspora have changed. Tells you they cannot even do things for themselves in the diaspora. But the minute they're part of government, they have transformed. They started to wear better glasses, better clothes, looking better. Frequent holidays and other things. Their lives change. But not for the people. Go and look at the average Gambian and look at these people, the so-called technocrats, so-called distinct people in decision making. Go and look at the properties they have and check how much they get paid. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. How did they manage to earn it? They'll tell you, Anyan. Go and find out how much they spend on their kids going to school. And ministers buying properties outside, ministers sending now, they used to say the PPP government, now they are buying properties for their children to live in Europe, America, and other places. They are not paying tuition fee and boarding and other things. Or just pay for the tuition fee and your son or daughter will hustle to do the rest. No. They have a full package. Where did they get that money from? You think that money is not from corruption? You think that money, if it was put in the right places, people would suffer? You think we would have been having this major problem because of world market prices going on? We are producing enough? Yes, we could. Yes, it's possible. We can do it. But they don't want that. They all became multi-billionaires. We all seen Barrow and orders. We know that. I said, until we elect the right people that have the moral courage, the knowledge to transform the economy, and possess the right mindset to fight corruption, nepotism, and exclusion, the situation will get worse, and it will end up to civil unrest. This is the word they don't want to hear, civil unrest. If you said civil unrest, they said what? That gis nga dañ bëgg seytaane diaspora bi lañ nekk dañ bëgg yëngal dëkk bi. It's a lie. You see, one, they want you to silence. They will say a lot of things. Dañ bañ foreigner. They will tell us diaspora bi yéen ngeen nekk ci biti da ngeen bañ foreigner. They want to silence you. They want to silence you. The same people will tell you are tribalist. Because of Nyom, they want to silence you. They are the tribalists, but they will tell you you are not tribalist because you are pointing at things that they don't want to talk about. The same people tell you that a bunch of tribe because of you are telling the truth to your own people. Danga bañ sa tribe. The same people. The same people will tell you, Danga hate. I mean, that's what they do. But let that not silence you. Let that not silence you. Because it's going to happen. This is not sustainable. This is what it will get there. What we're doing, we are doing it. We will try our best, but I'll tell you, these people are, look, they cannot put a stop to this. They cannot stop. You see, all their problems you're hearing, this is it. It's all about, and you know, it's interesting. I'll tell you, in politics, be it Europe, America, anywhere else, most people, I'm not saying all of them, most people, businesses, when businesses put money into politics, they do it for the policies that the politics would create for them to be better off. Their businesses will be better off. When individuals put money into politics, in most cases, I'm not saying all, especially to politicians who are likely to form government, it's to what? To benefit themselves. But we know the people who are not charitable. Because there are a lot of things you can support in the Gambia. There are people doing so much out of the little they have to support families, do something for the thing. But you don't see them going to give it to politicians, especially politicians who are in government. Saying that I'm supporting the person because I like them, or what? What do you like about them? It's a lie. Some of them, these people, they are lying. They don't have nothing to support. We know that. They have been supported by government. They are part of the corruption. But they will tell you that we, 𝗵𝗺𝗃 and others, are the one talking about unrest, telling people that they need to stand up for themselves. That's a fact. There's so much 𝗵𝗺𝗃 can do. I can talk. I mean, I'm telling you, if anybody tells you that 𝗵𝗺𝗃 is going to boycott his own sister, that's a lie. And I'm not going to tell anybody to boycott their mother. My mother is not alive. My father is not alive. My sister now is my mother. You think I am going to stop my allowance because I am not happy with the way the country works? No, that's between me and my sister. That's not realistic. I'm not the people who will tell you, campaign, you stop sending money. That's a lie. I'm not sending money to feed the government. Yes, by default. By default, it's doing something. But that is it's a contract I have with my people. The little I have to extend to other people I'm not even related to, you think I'm going to stop that? No, I can't. I'm not going to bring religion in this. It's something that comes from my heart. It's something that's made me happy. You want me to stop to be happy? Because of being my happiness, my support, these things? No. That's my happiness. That's what I work for. Yes, I'm not preying on miserability of people. No. That's what, I mean, if it comes to religion, that's what I'm asked to do. But humanity, that's what humanity asks for. Yes, this is what we do, the little we do. No, it's not going to stop. Because it's not sustainable. What we do is not going to, no. It's sustainable if what we have here, the capitals we have here, I use capital because we have a lot of other things, not only remittance. Our ideas and other things. Our force to inspire others and other things could transform that country. That is what is sustainable. Our remittance and others, yes, it's going to help these things. Our project we do, something personal, which could be, but I'll tell you, the speed this country is going, it's going to happen. They can help themselves. And we'll get to some of those. Now, let's look at this other problem. The trade minister came out. I saw this post. I've not listened to it because I'm just actually waking up. 𝗵𝗺𝗃 Sani have said, Gambia Trade Minister to NAMS, ship using Dakar for goods coming to Banjul is a bonus to the economy. Because were it not for that, Gambians would have witnessed even higher prices. That's what I said. Now, this is good that The finance minister said that no, it's global price. It's globally, the price increase is globally. That's what is affecting us. No, now the trade minister have come out to admit that yes, part of the problem is the ports of Banjul. You see, I talked about development here. First thing is to feed yourself. Second thing is to create an industry. What can you? We are within ECOWAS. What can we? If it is even a little that we can use and the little we can sell out, that's what we do. What have we? And look, now you don't have to be a small nation to create. You just have to have the right policies. Invest in education. Policies. Estonia is supporting German industries now. Estonia is providing the human capital needed in Germany for their automotive and electronic industry. Estonia and other small countries are doing the same thing. India today is a big country, who was termed a poor country. Now Indian citizens are the ones running the high-tech companies in the world. Because of what yesterday their leaders thought about innovating, having a policy that builds their human resource capital, and today is transformative. That's how you develop your country. But do we think about that? No. Now, when you have a vision to develop your country, there's something called the build capitals. Your existing infrastructure has to be maintained and built on. From your existing infrastructure, that's what you use as a platform to build your future infrastructure. Why did I say the port of Banjul? I don't have time to go to explain why the congestion is happening and everything. But I'll tell you one thing is corruption, incompetence. And the corruption, incompetence, we know all Jobati went there because of he would do what Jobati used to do for Jammeh. That's all. That's why I say the Jammeh infrastructure is intact. It's the corruption. For 5 years, the ports just dipped down. I mean, efficiency and everything. People will tell you, oh, certain things are not working now. This is, one scanner is working, another scanner is not working. The docking, anchor places is the same since PPP days. The anchors we have, that's all we have now, and so on. The export expansion project is failed. Everything is failed. Lack of priority. They are building warehouses, but they're not building the access so that they can get goods. This is the problem we have. But these people will be in office. They're not delivering to the people, but they're delivering to Barrow. This is how Barrow make them billions. The port play a role in the timber trade. That's why you have to have someone who would abide, because they are doing something illegal. And Barrow is benefiting from the illegal trade of timber and others. We can go on. But now, the minister has admitted, the trade minister, that the reason that prices are going up because of the port. It's not efficient. Now, because of the port, it's not efficient. What is happening is, in transportation, turnaround, even truckers, turnaround is very important. The time you get to point A and B is very important. Now, in ships and aircraft, that's where the money is. That's where they make profit, the turnaround. Now, if there's uncertainty in Gambia, now, if I go to the Gambia, I cannot determine when I'm going to offload my voyage, my cargo. Why would I want to go to Gambia? Then if I have to go to Gambia, you have to pay me a premium. That payment of premium, where is it going to? Going to affect the consumer. The consumer have to pay it. Because of the businessman would have to put it onto the price. Simple. That's simple. This is simple arithmetic. Uncertainty. We used to have goods leave United Kingdom 3 weeks. They tell you 3 weeks, 3 weeks it's there. Now I feel sorry for people sending freight because they keep on updating their customers, or even they have to go to the point of showing the satellite images where the boat is just, they don't lose the trust for their customers. You see the ripple effect. What we call consumer confidence. Even the people in the trade are trying to build that, but the government cannot. Barrack cannot, because they are, or it's a kabudu. They are all after just this thing, digging in. Go and look at the managing directors, where their children are studying, with the properties they own in America, in England, in Canada, in Senegal. The lifestyle they maintain, if they can maintain that on their salary. They give it to borrow. Ports give cash, hard cash to borrow. GRA does the same. Other companies don't do the same. Now you wonder why prices are going up. The corruption, incompetence, same thing. Now the ports, but this most scary stuff is, it's not only about price rises. Yes, the minister admitted that price would rise even worse if goods were not offloaded at Senegal and coming to the Gambia. But did we realize what the minister said there? That Gambia, gradually, systematically, we are transforming to Senegal to be our point of arrival. How can we do this? What this congestion issue have been going on for years. Why it's not been solved? You tell me. Do you know how many companies could have come and build other 3 docking points to increase the capacity to 150%, so that more this thing, but it would take this investment to do that. It takes investment to do that. But it takes someone who is strategic to do that. You need to handle that, because the more docking points you this thing, the more receiving these things to do. They don't want to invest on that, because of the money they need to invest on that is going to private bank accounts. Gambians are suffering. Now we are systematically losing our trade. Our re-export trade and everything, we are losing it. Not only that, now we are depending on Senegal to get our basic needs, because we are going to import. We keep on importing. If it continue, gradually the port will halt. Gradually, this is what they say, until Gambians do something about it. That's why I said so much we can do. Gambians will do something about it. We don't like it that way, but that's what the minority want to dictate. They are not smart enough. Elites should be smart enough to make sure they do something sustainable. They don't. Let's see what's going to happen. Something has got to give. Now we are talking about this now. Senegal are building ports everywhere. The efficiency doing that, and we want to blame the Senegalese. No, don't blame the Senegalese. Blame us. Blame our leaders. Blame us. This is where the problem is. But another point I'm coming on to is Gum Petroleum. Gum Petroleum problem is still going on. And I am suspecting, I'm not saying it's a fact, I'm suspecting there's a lack of financial flow in government. That's why cuts, army allowance were cut. It's not an error. I know it's not an error. It's a systematic thing. Now some teachers' allowance are cut because of there's a financial flow. Why this financial flow problem? Gum Petroleum problems is not resolved still. We are still importing fuel from Senegal again. And the fuel coming from Senegal is not paying tax. There's a duty levy on it. Now the tax we used to collect, remember this is going to 3 to 4 months now. I'm keeping count. The tax we used from October, November, December, January, February, 5 months now. The tax we used to collect for 5 months of importation on fuel, there's a levy. Now that amount of money going to GRA, it's not going to the GRA and it's going to government. This might be the reason. This might be the reason. Why is this issue not resolved? Because of the grand corruption Barrow is part of, and people around Barrow is part of. And we are, all these things are going to affect our prices. Because government is going to raise taxes in order to catch up. But why government should raise taxes to catch up? Why government should punish the average Gambian? No, because of the minority with Barrow and others, corruption are going on. Let's go to the other one. Nawek. I'm actually late. I should have gone out. Nawek. Gambians have taken Nawek now. Water. It's just ridiculous. I don't know why they bother even to come out to tell us. It's just ridiculous. Water. People are building their houses. Beautiful. Showers. Power, whatever. Jacuzzis and others. You don't have water to service this. Water. You don't have water to drink properly. I mean, it's just the complete infrastructure is gone down. Water, I'm coming to first. But what people don't realize, in fact, is that other risk for water. Fire. Most of fire happening, people are not telling you this. The fire service, they cannot access water most of the time. The water pressure, they need to, the hydrates, they don't give them water. Now, if you build all these houses, beautiful houses, it's at risk. Millions and millions, it's at risk. Beautiful estates. People are selling you beautiful estates. Did you ever hear them talk about fire service? Did you ever talk about fire service to rescue you? To put off the fire? These are things when you buy your properties, then think about it. When you build in properties, think about it. That's another thing. But again, electricity. It's just, why do you think the same people are still in the system? It's Barrow. The corruption, the 35 million Kodole, it was now a corruption. And that company have a contract. What do you think? And I'll tell you, it's all the thing. The amount of corruption in Nawek, from petrol dealing and other things that people supplies, Barrow is taking a kickback. From the contract with car power, Barrow is taking a kickback. Go on. It's about corruption. Now the problem with prices rises, and yes, fuel prices are going up, is affecting globally. But other countries, as I said, they manage their economy in good times. What they do, they are giving subsidy to the less fortunate. But at least it's not causing them for the lights to go off. But our lights been going off forever, and it's gonna get worse. Now it is gonna grind to a halt soon. You don't hear a change of management, no. Because of it's a kabudu. It's a kabudu. Any serious management in there would be kicked off because of you not allow what is happening. It's a kabudu. Now it will grind to a halt. And finally, as I said, what I need to talk about here is the opposition. We keep on blaming the people. And I said this. Until Gambian opposition become an anti-establishment, not an establishment. Look, if you are an establishment, what change? There's no change here. And you have to prove to people you are anti-establishment. Your composition, people around you. You cannot, anybody that leave Barrow or government come to you, and you want and that person have a sensitive position in your party, and you want us to believe that you will be different from Barrow. That's one. What people see, one. What people hear. The things I've raised here, you will not hear opposition in the Gambia talk about. Yeah, they go to parliament. What? Look, the way they should address these things, and again, I'm going to borrow again from Ousmane Sonko. I've said this here. I keep on referencing the way Ousmane Sonko and the anti-establishment is doing politics in Senegal. You think the power of incumbent is not, even the power of incumbent that Macky Sall is using is far worse than Barrow. Be corruption, be bribery, be illegal, anything, suppression. You know how many people died before these local government elections. But look at the results. Look at the results of the local government, because they attack issues. The cost of living, they will go there and talk to people and explain to people to know the reason why the cost of living. When Macky Sall brought those trains to try to fool the people in Dakar, the trains, they went there to explain the trains, how could be it done better. and explain the corruption involved, explain the benefit that goes to France is more than Dakar, and the unsustainability of the project. Say that this project is not sustainable. We will keep on paying the French for everything. It could have been done better to benefit us. We could have covered hundreds of kilometers for this amount of money. Hundreds of kilometers. But no, Dakar is saying for billions of dollars. For what? This is what the opposition need to do. The opposition in Senegal, in fact, talked about the bridge in the Gambia, explained everything. Different platforms, different language, and articulate, not take clowns on. Because if you look at the kind of people we take on our media, that is just, it's a disgrace. Gambia, we're going to discuss this, and a clown is brought, and next minute it's about personality. A clown is this thing. You will not see any expert. You don't see anybody with little bit of knowledge. No. All these problems going, no, it's all about, yep politics. Or he did it in 2016, he did it. That's not the issues. Yeah, because of the press, in fact, is in fact manipulated, part of the manipulation. The press is part of the manipulation. And we expect things to be better. The opposition have to. And they say, we are approaching parliament. But I'll tell you, look at your candidates and go and vote for a candidate you believe in. Because we all know most of these candidates are looking for a job. They are looking to upgrade themselves. Don't rely on your political parties that they will give you all the candidates. Some might give you, some candidates might be good in political parties, but what's going to affect you? Try and get someone in there to campaign that for you. But what I'm saying, the standard of living, the problem with ports, the problem with Gam Petroleum, how it affects people, how the problem with ports affect prices, how the lack of development, agricultural development affect prices, how all this affect prices. No, we'll sit down and the people will say, hey, why would they? America's a degana. America's a degana, because that's what the narrative would be. America's a degana mugi yoko, Angleterre mugi yoko, but they don't give them the details. This is that's what they need as opposition to talk about. The anti-establishment have to attack this. Look, Macky Sall have used tribe. Macky Sall have used every form of corruption. We had it. Some people, if they come out on media to tell you it's a lie, that Senegalese politics is different, it's a lie. What makes it different is the opposition. You have seen insults, been paid by Macky Sall, insulters. People, the same thing. People from the diaspora, I'm not going to name them. People who follow Senegalese politics know that. Men and women in the diaspora traveling to Dakar, being taken care of by Macky Sall. The same system. Going around insulting religious leaders, elders, politicians, anybody. Insulting Sonko, trying everything. But it did not change. Within the country, they are insulting. They use insults. They use the tribal, they tried everything. But what? Because of the way, the proactiveness of the politicians, an anti-establishment position was taken. And technically, Macky Sall has been defeated. If the elections that passed was based on presidential, Macky Sall would not have had 35% of the vote. Because all the major cities, the densely populated cities, have been won by the opposition. Macky Sall would have been gone. And by doing this as a referendum on Macky Sall's third term, now this is going to make it very difficult. And if Macky Sall tried, I will see what Senegalese would do. But in order, before we blame our people, we need to be proactive, to be with them and educate them. But if we leave our people onto the mercy of this minority sect that are going around trying to build a narrative, trying to divide us, trying to silence us, that's why I said I am not going to be silent. I did not start my activism in the Iyajame days. I started my activism in my First Republic. And until I even retire, I'm not saying I'm going to do this every day or I'm going to do it that way. But my voice would be my voice, the best I can impact. And I'll ask Gambian to think about it. Thank you very much, guys. It's even taking longer than planned. Thank you.